Hello everyone, and what a nice day here in Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We also apologize if you're Indonesian, and because you're gonna have to deal with such very late times here, 1 a.m. almost here in Jakarta. Well, not exactly here in Jakarta, but whatever the case is, welcome everyone to Indianapolis. What should be a riveting conclusion to the 23-24 Formula Hololive International season. We're here in Indianapolis Motor Speedway, racing in the Grand Prix course, racing here in the Indy Grand Prix finale. So let's take a look into the track map for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Grand Prix course. So you can see here 3.9 kilometers of racetrack. Just wanted to check that the mile count should be a bit less here. I think it's around 2.43 miles. We need to adjust that also. Also, we only corners from what we're seeing, or rather actually around 14 corners. We also forgot to adjust that one as well. Apologies. Anyways, it's still 78 laps of racetrack. Well, 78 laps of racing here in Indianapolis for the Indy Grand Prix finale. 305 kilometers as well. Will be the race distance, as this is a finale, so all the finales should be Grand Prix distance. And looking at the target lap time, 1:15.502. It's also nice to look into. Also, it's the Indy 500 tomorrow, actually, at one of the US's most popular racetrack, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's, of course, we're talking about the season finale of the 23-24 Formula Hololive International season, and of course, we'll be talking about the permutation in extra detail. But for now, let's take a look into the spotter's guide. And as of right now, nothing has changed in terms of the full-timers lineup, but there is a change into the part-timers lineup, as we have Haziq Yazid replacing Yu Chae-yeon in the Shiori number 90. This is to give Haziq Yazid some ample racing time, driving time, in order for him to get himself ready for the full season. Haziq Yazid, of course, I believe has been confirmed to drive for Shiori Novella in the 24-25 season. So that's very much a good amount of excitement here, a good amount of buzz for him as well. But of course, we still have one more race to deal with. So let's take a look in the championship order after the Ontario Grand Prix. 975 points, of course, for Aziz Muazif. Zeke Wimberley had a chance to close the gap at Ontario, but the chance came begging after he made contact with Corrica Mendes at turn 8 at Mosport, dashing his chances of at least closing the gap. So you can see here, Takeda Adachi actually had a very good run there on that final on the previous race, as he now closes the gap to about 138 points behind Aziz Muazif. Jake Martinez, of course, limped home to a 10th place finish, despite having a damaged car that time. So here is the permutations here. Aziz Muazif needs 7 or higher to guarantee himself the Formula Hololive International title. And if he finishes lower than that, then Adachi, Martinez, and Wimberley have a chance to get the title instead of Muazif. But of course, it will still depend on where they finish and where Muazif also finished. And we'll get into any extra detail as the race progresses. But I think that's as much as we can share with you, because that's not the most important thing that we also want to show you. What we wanted to show you, actually, are the trophies. So you can see here, the trophies here have been recently unveiled today. This is a trophy for the prospective Formula Hololive International champion. So whoever wins the 23-24 Formula Hololive International season will be receiving this trophy. Sure, it's only PNG, but this is the best we can do to congratulate and commemorate the best driver in Formula Hololive International in the 23-24 season period. And with that being said, we actually rushed through a bit into this race preview. So excuse me. So we're gonna take some time in Formula Hololive International. So I'm Muhammad Reza, and alongside me is, of course, Kamine Reba, driver for Shishiro Botan in the number 43 car in Formula Hololive Japan. So
morning to you all.
Alright, so Kamine Reba, we're about to get this qualifying session finally underway, the final qualifying session for the 23-24 Formula Hololive International season. What are your thoughts?
This is going to be surely one hectic race, because already we have seen the how do you say, pre-practice, and all the title contenders are struggling a bit, finding themselves around 10th place. So we can only expect an unexpected driver to win. That's my best guess. So despite the higher chance of Muazif. I do not believe they're gonna take the win today.
And right now we have Liam Kai, of course, previous winner in Formula Hololive International, winning the Ontario Grand Prix after surviving incidentally chaos in the Chaos Incarnate card. He and the Chaos Incarnate member that, of course, Liam is representing, Hakos Bales. So he's gonna have a good amount of momentum coming into this round. Of course, he is out of title contention at this rate. So at this point, he's just racing for pride. And looking into the other drivers, Ryan Kagawa is itching to score some first few points for Nerissa Ravencroft. And also we have Takeda Adachi, the first of the 4 title contenders out on track. And behind him is his fellow Holomyth teammate, that is Bernardo Santiago. What are your thoughts on Adachi?
They had a fantastic form yesterday, not yesterday, well, last time, and so they managed to rack up enough to get themselves into title contention. But he was struggling in the free practice. This is qualifying, so we'll see if he's gonna get his game up. But again, I don't see him winning today either.
Anyways, Takeda Adachi is running across the final corner here. Take us through a lap here in the Indy Grand Prix course.
Oh me, thank you. So we are heading now down the main straight. You can see the pits on the right with every number. We've got an upgrade. Then down into the first turn, a 90 right-hander, which merges right with the pit lane, so that's a bit of a hassle. And we have a left and a long right that goes into a bit of a tricky break. Down into the first turn, and back to the left. It's a chicane, 5-6. And now this is the back straight, which might prove a bit bigger chance of overtaking. So you'll see now why. Turn 7 is a big breakdown, and you throw it to the left. Then a right, left, and the chicane, 7, 8, 9. Getting a bit tongue twisted. Now we have a bit of a long turn, turn 10. Another wide turn, 11, that leads back to the main straight. No, almost. Then we have the last few turns, which are a bit tight, slow. Right, left, right, and the last one being the wide again, leading into the main straight.
And that should be a lap here. Yep, and that should be a lap here in Indianapolis at Takeda Adachi across the line, 1:17.889. Not the very good lap time for Adachi. The Takodachis are not going to be too happy about this. But then, if you actually go back into Ina's expectations for Hololive and what fans should expect of Ina, now I believe Ina, as a Hololive member, should at least have some great moments in her. But she at the very least does very well to lower expectation for anyone watching her. Like, she is an illustrator. She can draw, and that is basically her high quality. And as for actually performing on stage and all that stuff, that she also has that quality, but that's not her main game. But she is serviceable enough to at least give us a good show. And Adachi is actually, if you come see his performances, he actually has outblown the expectations so far in the season. He's currently second in the international standings, which is absolutely positive. But let's see if Adachi can take another step up and take another game up his sleeve and get himself further up the rankings, which is not going to be possible at the moment. Speaking of which, Bernardo Santiago now jumps himself up into 5th place. Muazif is 1 point away from scoring a point, at least if qualifying awards you points as much as the race. He's 1 position away from 15th, and as more drivers actually complete their runs, we're going to be focusing on where Martinez is. Martinez is in 9th, Adachi is in 14th.
Wimberley 6th.
Yes, we saw that one as well, as Angela Sims actually bumps Wimberley down. So we are seeing a lot of drivers finally setting their lap times in, and right now, as it stands at the moment, it's still advantage Muazif.
Seems yes, as if for those who have read the recap on the points situation, there's no need for further explaining. But for those who haven't read it, there's a very, very high chance of win for Aziz Muazif. which needs to just finish about 14th basically, and he won. Considering if the others stay in a lower position, and I kind of forgot. I'm trying to find it again. Yeah. So we have again Muazif with a 2 to 3 ratio, 66.7% of championship winning possibility. We have Takeda, which is 1 to 5, 20%. Martinez, which has at 110 points with a 1 to 10, so 10%. And Wimberley with the least chance, a 5% chance of win, 1 over 20, has 795 points. He'll need to win with Muazif ending 14th or lower, which is not impossible but quite improbable.
Yeah, we're talking about a tall order here for Zeke Wimberley. He's currently down in 6th place, and of course he's got a very huge mountain to climb. And of course he has shown that he's got skill. He's got basically the drive to win races. However, he's been very inconsistent on races where he doesn't win. Of course, his wins all come from Super Prix. We wanted to highlight the in Manalika and Sepang and Boram Super Prix. Those are his previous 3 wins for this driver. He has actually matched as and looking at this one, Bernardo Santiago, 1:15.527 for Watson Emilia driver. What I actually want to highlight a bit about Santiago, he did win the Capture the Moment Grand Prix Split C race, and that is a non-points race for the in-class cars. If Bernardo Santiago could win for Watson Emilia here in Indianapolis, then he'll absolutely try at the very least cement himself as a favorite for next season, given that if he wins here, then it will be a points-paying win. And if he also wins, as I just wanted to highlight, then it's still going to be Aziz Muazif winning.
Well, as you were saying that, Adachi got knocked down by just 2 milliseconds by Yazio.
Yes, Yazid. It's Hazik Yazid.
Yazid. It looks like a O.
Oh, it's like an O, but don't worry. If I
Martinez knocked down by Ellis.
Yes, Don Ellis. Yes, I know. Don Ellis has bumped Martinez down in 12th place. He now gets into 11th. And looking at Ryan Kagawa, who is improved by a lot. He's showing good amounts of development here, this driver. Obviously, he's made his debut in Formula Hololive only last week, representing Narissa Ravencroft. And also, looking at Hazik Yazi, he's doing pretty well here. In his first race in Formula Hololive, it was inside the points, at least in the points position for qualifying. And now Aziz Muazif bumps him down, as Muazif is gonna try to seal the deal here. Now, based on what we're seeing here, Wimberley down in 8th, Martinez 13th, Adachi 17th. Talk about a pretty easy route in the final race, but given that these drivers weren't performing when they should, it also tells you something.
Yeah, it's their race. They should be all at their top game, but apparently they're either struggling or just relaxing. Except for Wimberley. Wimberley's 8th, and going back to him, he's, as you were saying, he's inconsistent but very consistent in the race that he wants to win. I've seen a few times, and he's just perfect, pixel perfect pit stops as Kagawa goes 4th for Narissa. Markman jumps to 2nd and knocks down Kagawa back to 5th. Yeah, by just 69 milliseconds. Damn,
nice.
These guys are incredible.
Yeah, I know, especially since Neil Markman, he crashed out in the previous Ontario Grand Prix, as did Ryan Kagawa. Both of them didn't finish inside the points. And also, just wanted to highlight right now, Mamashadin Reza. You can see Ryan Kagawa already has a very fast first sector, 29 seconds. He actually beats the previous fastest first sector by about 1/10 of a second.
He's now heading through the 2nd sector, and loses at 10th again. It's all down to the 3rd sector. We see now going around and around through to 7th. No, this should be 8th. The 8th turn. Oh no, he's in the last turns, I think.
but unfortunately he's going to come into the pits, which is pretty interesting. But anyways, Yuri Rafael de Oliveira is currently setting himself in 12th place. Looking at Zeke Wimberley, he is still continuing. Now Zeke Wimberley, I believe he needs to make a pit stop and go for some clean air if he wants to have a good chance of going further up. And right now with Muazif coming into the pits, he should have his first chance, or rather his next chances of qualifying in clean air right now. So let's see what Zeke Wimberley can do, at least in an effort to topple down Muazif, who's currently outside the points positions at the moment.
Yeah, he just needs to get himself into third place, because Wimberley's team is very good with strategy, so they always manage to get themselves up just with the strategy, as we've seen last race as well.
And coming into the first sector, let's see if he can find some improvements at the very least. He is only down by 800ths of a second here. Coming into turn 7, he is braking where he should be. Easy now coming into the S section, turns 8 and 9. No problems for him right now, but let's just hope that he just continues on and doesn't make himself go into the pits. And as you can see here, he only loses about 0.2 of a second. And based on what we're seeing here, he could be good for top 5 if if he's not either faster or slower in the final sector. And looks like he is going to continue. Let's just hope that he doesn't lose a lot of time in the final sector, or rather he will gain some time, because he's barreling down the main straight right now, and he goes up into the top 5. He's really trying to help nature heal there, Zeke Wimberley. The saplings are watching in quite anxious right now. But right now, let's see if Wimberley can still improve. But with these tires, I'm not going to be sure if he's going to be able to do so.
He's still pushing. I'd be going for a cooldown lap. Let's see. First sector about to end on the back straight. Loses 3/10 almost. So doesn't seem like he can improve much, but hopes that's to die. Even though it's not their motto. If that's their idea. If that's the idea, of course. Anyway, Angela Sims bumps Wimberley down to 6th place, and Yuri Rafael de Oliveira gets up into 10th place as well. So we're already seeing some dynamics being changed. More drivers coming out of the pits. That is actually Chanel Markman in the Mokoko number 52. Dan Evans actually had some spin. Had a bit of a spin here at turn 7, but he is able to continue. So a bit of a positive here. Currently, the provisional pole sitter is Bernardo Santiago with a 1:15.570. I believe he scored a pole in the Capture the Moment Grand Prix Split C race. And let's see if he's able to just hang around there. Meanwhile, Ethan Burleson goes up into 10th place. Looking at Martinez, he's down in 15th. Takeda Adachi, 19th. Aziz Muazif down in 17th. Zeke Wimberley is currently in 6th. Javier Lusby goes up into 14th. So we're going to be seeing what would be Zeke Wimberley's final 2 runs here, as Zeke Wimberley now sets a fastest first sector, and if he can nail those final 2 sectors, then if he can place himself in pole position, and that's step 1 done for the sapling driver. He's heading now to the end of second sector on the mini. But he loses just what he gained. Okay, he has 1 millisecond of advantage for now, it seems, down through the last few turns.
And he is going to commit to this lap. Let's see if he loses a little time here behind Angela Sims. He is kind of compromised by the 30 air, and now coming into the main straight, he's gonna be 3rd for Zeke Wimberley. He has one last chance to basically get himself up into pole position, given his current flare-up in pace. Qualifying is not over yet. Well, at least for Wimberley's chances for pole position, that is. And even if he goes into the front row, he should have the best seat in the house to steal the race lead.
But he is going to be compromised a bit by the dirty air in front of Takeda Adachi. But we'll see. Loses 34 but on the first sector. That doesn't mean anything. He can still try in the second and third sector. Takeda going a bit slowly there, surely holding him up a bit. Right.
That's Angela Simpson. That's Angela Simpson.
Slows down a lost.
Oh yeah, that is actually Takeda Adachi. Yeah. Oh, that's okay. Sorry. There is actually Takeda Adachi up front. Maybe it is just Adachi just trying to compromise Wimberley a bit, but I think it's a bit too little, too late. As you also get to see Muazif go up into 16th place, so Wimberley might not be too happy at Adachi's efforts. Speaking of which, Martinez now still down in 17. That will be him done. And as for Zeke Wimberley, this is at the very least the best he could do to get himself up there. He will qualify third for the Indy Grand Prix finale. Santiago is going to be set to qualify on pole position for the teammates. And as for the rest of the driver, that should be it in qualifying. So we're going to do a bit of a slight intermission before we get the starting lineup here. So, Captain Rebus, we have an interesting qualifying. We have the qualifying session finally come to an end. What are your thoughts?
I'm only seeing what was thought of to be unlikely. I can see Martinez now. No, not Martinez. Wimberley in third, and Aziz Muazif, Martinez, and Adachi all out of the points, so that could prove to Zeke Wimberley's favor if there's, say, some mishap on the first lap or something else. Maybe the drivers mess up the pit stops. Zeke Wimberley's chances are now going up. Maybe it's going to, I don't know, 7% chance of him winning now, but only time will tell.
Anyways, we're gonna get the championship, or rather the starting lineup for the Indy Grand Prix finale underway here. We have Bernardo Santiago scoring a first points-paying pole position. Well, first pole position in a points-paying race for Watson Emilia. Bernardo Santiago, his first pole comes here in Indianapolis, the Grand Prix course that is, with Chanel Markman, who crashed out in the last race at Ontario, now gets up into second place, sharing the front row with Santiago for Mokoko Abisgard. Zeke Wimberley for Sarasvano starts third, on which he will hope to steal the lead away from Santiago and Markman in order to give him the best chance of winning the title. Ahmed El-Ashor starts fourth, the guy who finished third previous race in Ontario, racing for Kyle Kowalska. This is where he will start. Corey Comendes crashed in the last race, but he will try to make amends for Takana Shikara. Angela Sims starts sixth for Anya Melfisa, with Ryan Kagawa 7th for Narissa Ravencroft, and Liam Kai 8th for Hakos Bales. The race winner, the defending race winner, will start from 8th. Hanare Miyuki starts 9th for Kobo Kanaeru, with Ethan Bertelsen 10th for Nana Shimumi. Rui Rafael de Oliveira starts 11th for Pavolia Arena, with Don Elise 12th for Correggioli. Juan Castanto 13th for Oro Crony, with 14 for car number 14, Mohamed Reza for Koseki Biju. Javier Luspi starts 15th for Vesta Zeta, alongside our championship leader Aziz Muazif for Ayun Derisu. As it stands, he will still win the title, but let's see if Zeke Wimberley can have anything to say about it. Jake Martinez starts 17th for Mori Calliope. Nichimita starts 18th for Fuawa Bisgar. Yazid starts 19th for Shiori Novella, with Takeda Adachi 20th for Ninomaya Nanis. Hinoshitayo starts 21st for Hoshino Vamuna, with Dan Evans 22nd for Irony Rio 15. And in the back row, we have Sven Jensen for Iris, and Shongo starts dead last for Gaugura. So, as we're about to get this race finally started, Zeke Wimberley, do you have one more thought that you might have that might cross your mind as we're about to get this start?
Might be the wrong commentator that's coming here. Zeke Wimberley is gonna start the race.
Well, of course.
So my thoughts is, I don't have thoughts right now. I just want to see what's gonna happen. I'm longing for the end of the race, not for the end of the season. I'm longing to see who gets the championship. I just want to see that.
Well, you're sharing the sentiments with a lot of the other viewers. So yeah, you're sharing the thought with as many viewers as we're seeing here. As we're seeing here, Bernardo Santiago is in the driver's seat, pole position in the final race of the 23-24 Formula Hololive International season, with Chanel Markman lining up alongside the drivers finally take to their seats as we're about to get the 5 lights on here in Indianapolis for the start of the Indy Grand Prix finale, and the race gets underway.
It's lights out.
And we are go, and it looks to me that here we have finally Chanel Marmot going side by side with the Watson Amelia driver, and all the drivers come into turn 1. Everyone's just trying to be as patient as they are. Right now, no contact between each driver as it stands here, and it looks to me that one driver I don't think is able to get in. Oh, and that's Wamashad and Reza. Again, a start line crash. That is a good amount of rear end damage for the Kozeki Bijou driver. Meanwhile, that's not the issue that we're going to be talking about, as Zeke Wimberley immediately makes his move up into second place, already makes his overtake on Chanel Markman, and now his eyes are now set on defending that second place in the hopes that he's able to steal the race lead away from Bernardo Santiago, as Santiago leads the Indy Grand Prix finale. Wimberley second, Markman third, Ella Shore fourth, Angela Sims fifth, Mendes 6, Kagawa 7, Kai 8, Oliveira 9, and Ethan Wilson rounded the top 10. And now Chanel Markman has fought himself back.
They're fighting now. He's now in second position. We have Muazif 14th. That is not good for Wimberley at all. And Martinez now jumps up into 15th. No, he's still battling it out with Lusby. So scrap what I said. But we have Muazif in 14th, which means that Wimberley has to get back up and has to hope for the best. All he can do is get the first place, which is not easy at all. As we have seen, battling it down with Ella Shore.
Yeah, we have Sims and Ella Shore side by side, coming into the chicane here, and now into turns 5 and 6. Ella Shore has made his move clear onto Sims. Meanwhile, we were seeing some really extensive battles between Lusby and Martinez, which does end in Lusby getting that 15th place. Well, it's another start line crash for Shazran Reza, which was unfortunate, has been unfortunate for him. Not the way he want to end his race like that, but here's another side-by-side battle between Bertelsen and De Oliveira. The Nanashi Mume driver beats the Maratyad as he's now up into 9th place.
Now everybody's kind of cruising as we're approaching the end of the lap. We have still Wimberley with his fangs out. He wants to get a chomp on those tires and make Markman go back. That was kind of weird. Sorry about that. I tried something.
Anyways,
burn down the kitchen.
Anyways, we're looking into Bernardo Santiago fastest lap 1:15.675, and looking into the fuel loads for all of these drivers. Everyone's gonna be pitting quite early, and based on what we're seeing here, we might see the start of some pit lane activity on the next 4 laps, and we expect it to continue around the next 50 lap. And we have Nishi Michan. We have making contact with another driver, and it looks to me that Nishi Michan is able to continue. But I think it looks like there's just too much damage for Michan for him to be able to continue. But it looks like he might just still be able to continue. I think there was contact between Michan and another driver in turn 1.
Well, we won't know, but Kai and Kagawa are battling it out through the second sector, I believe, yes. And Kagawa goes a bit wide there and leaves the position to Kai.
And you can see him also Nishi Michan running a bit slow there, but you can see here Ryan Kagawa actually managing to defend his position where he is right now. And looking into Wimberley, he is still stuck behind Chanel Markman, who is actually slower than Bernardo Santiago. Look at the gap between Santiago and Markman.
Good for 3 seconds, so that is not good at all for Wimberley, as he is losing time with Shore setting I think the fastest lap, or his fastest lap, catching up surely to Wimberley. That is not good for Wimberley at all. That is fantastic for Aziz Muazif in 14th still.
And also looking into the fuel loads for Zeke Wimberley, just want to check back. Both Wimberley and Santiago are in are having equal amounts of fuel inside them, and this will also mean that they are committing to a similar strategy. Zeke Wimberley might think of a move down the inside of Markman, but he's not close enough. And as of right now, Wimberley will try to hang on once again, try to find some avenues of attack against Markman as the gap still opens up. Markman is 1 second slower, it seems, compared to Santiago, and Wimberley knows that, and so he has to think of a move as soon as possible.
For as much as he can try, he's gonna get around it. This fairly seems like what happened back in Hungary in 2021, that is, where Esteban Ocon managed to get his first ever win, with Alonso holding down Hamilton for, what, 10 laps. As Santiago sets the fastest lap of the race, so 1:15.613, and Kai sets his personal best with a 1:15.916.
And of course,
and Kagawa losing time with a 1:17.
Yeah, and also you can also notice that Markman is actually 1.2 seconds slower than even Santiago, and so there's a pressure now on Wimberley to try to get himself a move done. Meanwhile, Kagawa and Bertelsen going side by side, and Bertelsen really attacking on that chicane. Well, tries to find something against Kagawa, and meanwhile they're probably gonna go 3 wide here. Miyuki's gonna be sniffing on an opportunity to get past the two of these guys. As you can see here, Bertelsen and Kagawa side by side. The two drivers go, and it looks to me they're still side by side at the S section. And it looks to me Bertelsen has the inside line coming into turn 9, and now, or the turn 10. But anyways, Bertelsen has made the pass on Ryan Kagawa. Hanari Miyuki is now looking for an opportunity. She's going to go down the inside of Kagawa. Kagawa is being pushed left, right, and center against veteran drivers who have had more time in their cars, as Eden Bertelsen is the first driver to come into the pits, as does Angela Sims and Liam Kai.
Let's see if their undercut proves worthy. No, overcut, yeah? Yeah, overcut.
The undercut, the undercut.
Undercut, my bad. And so there's other drivers setting all their personal bests. Martinez jumped to 13.
Oh, and here comes Wimberley and Markman. Wimberley and Markman now side by side now. Wimberley says he's had enough of Markman's shenanigans, and now he's gonna go take matters into his own hands. It's gonna be set around the outside of Markman coming into turn 7. And as you can see here, the sun slowly starting to set here in Indianapolis. As you can see here, that will not faze a lot of these drivers, especially for Wimberley, who is dead set on trying to stealing this title away from Aziz Muazif. And as it stands right now, the pit stop cycles are going forward right now. But as for Wimberley, he's gonna be, his job is done on him getting second place. But the gap is pretty huge though between Santiago and himself.
Yeah, he's hoping he's got a chance. The Mother Nature said, I don't know, I'll give you another chance. He has another chance. He just has is an understatement. He has to get first place. That's all he can do. That's all he hopes that is gonna be enough for this championship.
And right now, Santiago is currently leading this race by about 7.4 seconds. Wimberley needs to close that gap through one way or another, whether it's through lap traffic or pit stops or something. He needs something. He needs a little bit of luck. He needs an extra stroke of luck to help nature heal as fast as it should. And right now, Wimberley is doing all he can to put his to put his cards on the table and to play the ball into others' courts. And right now, Wimberley is actually only losing slightly to Santiago, which is better than when he was behind Markman. And of course, Markman is now under pressure for Ahmed El Ashore. Meanwhile, we have Inochi Tayo actually finally coming back to the pit lane. Not battling against Bertelsen. Bertelsen actually pitted earlier than Tayo, so it feels like the undercut strategy might be the way to go. With Bernardo Santiago second in the fastest lap of the race, 1:15.583. Zeke Wimberley's response, 1:15.918, personal best.
As he's now trying to catch back up, but as you said, he is losing time nonetheless. Santiago is on a rampage. He's on, I don't know, he probably drank 3 monsters before this race. as the gap increases lap by lap. All Wimberley can hope for, other than doing what he can, is for a faulty pit stop or a fault in the car, or even Santiago messing up with the back markers. That's all he can hope for.
Castanto, Yazid, and Jensen come into the pit lane right now, and as you can see, it's actually a pretty brief pit stop there for Hazik Yazid. So you can see a lot of drivers here, especially like, for example, Bertelsen. He only has a brief pit stop, so he will be pitting again. So it looks to me that Wimberley and Santiago might just have aced their strategies enough for them to go for that one-stop strategy and for them to not have any errors in the pit stop. So it's gonna go down to between Santiago and Wimberley, who will be winning this race. And as for Muazif, he will be pitting in the next 2 laps as more drivers will get themselves circulated between the pit stops right now.
As we can see now, Mendes at a short pitting. Wimberley with the fastest 1.15.851, but it's still not enough as Santiago is miles ahead of him. We have Miyuki pitting,
as well as Ahmed Al-Ashur.
Muazif and let's be jumping, and we have Muazif now in 7th, so that is not good at all for the saplings.
But of course,
it's fantastic for Muazif.
Yeah, of course, it's fantastic for Muazif and the Risuners, the Risun and all that stuff. But remember, Aziz Muazif has yet to pit in this race. He's going to be making his first pit stop in the next lap or 2. So the Risuners are going to be... well, we're going to have to ask them to slow down their expectations here. As speaking of which, Muazif is still just hanging around in this 7th place at the moment. Of course, he's going to have to pit again. But he will be pitting in the next lap. But if in terms of the overcutters like Santiago and Markman, who are only expected to make 1 pit stop, this is going to be something that we're going to need to pay attention, because usually it's the overcutters that win those Grand Prix. And if you can ace your strategy correctly, at least in the overcut, as well as having a quick pit stop, then you'll be good for your chances to win a race. Speaking of which, Chanel Markman comes into the pit lane right now for Mokogo Abisgar, as well as Yuri Rafael de Oliveira, and then we have Aziz Muazif and Javier Lusby as well.
As we're seeing Evans in an improbable position, which is 10th, probably 7th by the time the pit stop ends. Oh no, as he's pitting, okay, so this is the last we'll see of him, 10th. As Sean goes over the start-finish line, being hunted down by Miyuki, that is. And for position, as Go sets his personal fastest lap with a 1:18.586, if I don't remember wrong.
Yeah.
And being hunted down by El Ashur, with just 3/10 behind him. As we can see, yeah, go ahead.
Anyways, we're actually going to be checking a bit of an update here between Santiago and Wimberley. They will be pitting this lap. Santiago has already made his move into the pit lane. Wimberley as well. Here we will be seeing the remaining drivers come into the pits. Corey Rico Mendez also comes in. Ryan Kagawa Jake pits. Martinez might also be going to pit lanes, as well as Sean Go. And just wanted to check where Santiago is right now. He is still barreling down the pits. Martinez is also committed to the pit lane right now.
So for now, El Ashur seems to be in the podium contention, or I think he's too far back, but he'll be possibly the top of the pack.
And looking into the rest of the drivers here, I think all of the drivers will make at least 2 pit stops, given that we have Wimberley, who won't be taking too long. Here's Santiago still taking the lead of this race, and now Corey Rico Mendez beats actually Zeke Wimberley, who's actually spending a good amount of time in the pit lane. Looking at Zeke Wimberley here, he's actually going to be pitting. He's actually filling a lot of fuel. He's actually taking a good amount of time in the pit lane, because you can see here he's actually topping up the fuel tanks 100%. So for Zeke Wimberley, he will actually commit to a one-stop strategy. Meanwhile, Bernardo Santiago is going to be set to pit again, as well as Corey Mendes, El Ashur, and Miyuki and all that stuff. Looks like Zeke Wimberley is gonna gamble on a one-stop strategy for him to spend less time in the pit stop and to just hang on to the race lead. Sure, he'll have worn out tires right at the end, and the gas may close down, but it's it's worth trying here because he knows that he needs to win and hope Muazif finishes 14th or lower for him to win the Formula Hololive International title.
But as we've seen through previous races, Wimberley is possibly one of the best tire preservers. So I believe in his strategy, I believe in his choice. Not to be favorable, but just to see, something to see history being written right before of our eyes.
Yeah. And especially if you want to look into some previous data, we want to talk about the Burram Grand Prix, or rather the Burram Super Prix, where it was Angela Sims's race to lose until she actually lost it when she made a reckless move at turn 12, hitting another car and all that stuff in an unfavorable position. And you know who was in second place? Zeke Wimberley. And he was actually right on the heels of the Anya Melfissa driver, and now we might be seeing the same thing happening with Zeke Wimberley, currently 16th, the first driver currently leading the drivers who will make no more pit stops, like Bertelsen, and then we also have Kagawa, Michan as well. Right now, Zeke Wimberley has a serious chance of actually getting this race lead away if he can just keep his car on the track. Right now we have 11 laps complete here in Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and now we have Bernardo Santiago actually on the main straight. He will be set to lose around a minute in the next pit stop. So as it stands right now, Wimberley has a serious chance of getting this race lead.
He does, as we have Don Ellis pitting after holding back Markman a bit, as Constantin Lusby gets the jump, as Tayo, okay, this one is Tayo pits as himself. Not seeing too much action as Yazid and Jensen overtake Tayo, and so will De Oliveira. We have Evans 13th, Muazif 14th, Kai 15th, Wimberley 16th, Kagawa, Martinez, Go, Bertelsen, Michan, Sims, Adachi. So,
yeah, speaking of Adachi, he's having a pretty not sure if a pretty underwhelming race here for Adachi right now.
Yeah.
He hasn't been able to probably crack the top 10 all day long, and he's currently mired down in the last places. And looking into where Tayo and Elias is right now, and Wimberley currently is set to pass both of them right now. So Wimberley currently is moving up the ranks here as the remaining drivers are going to be completing their pit stop runs, looking into the likes of Dan Evans and Aziz Muaz, who will be pitting in 6 laps time. Corey Rico Mendes will pit in 7 laps time. Rafa de Oliveira in 6 laps time, and all that stuff is there's Javier Lusby. Haji Ghazi will be pitting in 3 laps time. So again, there's a lot of intrigue as to how these races will continue to unfold, but we're going to be monitoring on Aziz Muazif's case actually in extra detail, as we're going to be seeing where he will end up after he exits the pit lane, because usually it's the overcutters, those who pit the latest, will spend the least amount of time in the pit lane, because you'll be spending less time dedicating less time to refilling your car. Instead, you'll be dedicating more time into actually just changing the tires.
Driving. Absolutely, yeah. But what you've said before about Wimberley's strategy, I believe he's gonna do I'm gonna talk in F1 dummy mode terms. I believe he's gonna go for a medium and hard soft strategy, because for as much as the car can be filled, I do not believe that it's gonna take until the end of the race, or even the tires. For as good as he can be in tire wear, as I said before, I don't really. This is a very demanding track considering the heat and the speeds it goes to. So.
Anyways, this would be applicable in Formula 1, but as you can see here in Formula Hololive International, it runs slightly different from actually FIA Formula 2 even, as there's only one tire compound to make this extremely simple for everyone to understand. But as it stands right now, Wimberley just needs to manage the tires right until the end and just maintain the status quo where he is at the moment. Because he currently leads amongst drivers who have already made their last pit stops. Even if you look at Liam Kai, he will be pitting in the next 2 laps. Aziz Muazif is also set to pit in the next 4 laps. Like everyone, I believe above Wimberley, like from Santiago to Kai, will have to pit once again to basically get themselves properly topped up right until the end. And as it stands right now, Wimberley is just hanging on to this race lead, 11 seconds ahead of Ryan Kagawa, and we still need to know if lap cars are going to be a serious thing or not, because the pit stop cycles have yet to be completed. But as it stands right now, Wimberley is in a serious position to get himself a Formula Hololive International title. I mean, we're going to talk about percentages. I think it's a 1 to 10, 1 in 10, or maybe 10% now. Yeah, like previously it was 7%. Now the chances have increased to 10.
Yeah, Takeda Adachi has swapped place with has dropped down the orders. Now the summary of odds, as you named it, I think is going to be Muazif, Martinez, and Wimberley, and then last Adachi, because he's on a very underwhelming run in this race, being 2 seconds off of Michan, which has damage. So I don't see him. I told you before, I didn't see him, but we have now Santo Jensen and Yazid pitting as we
just wanted to
we have also Kai pitting.
Yeah, we have Liam Kai, Hazik Yazid, Juan Castanto, and Sven Jensen coming into the pits, and Jake Martinez! We were supposed to talk about Jake Martinez there. It looks like he made contact with some other driver at turn 7, and that's another one of the title contenders out. We did saw Jake Martinez actually hang around in what was supposed to be a net 3rd place finish, but now with him having severe amounts of damage, he's not going to be able to continue with the race or the season any further, and that's another championship contender out. We talked that we actually wanted to give a bit of a hypothesis. If it was actually Wimberley and Martinez finishing 1-2, and given that once it finishes outside the points, then it would have been Jake Martinez instead who would be winning the Formula Hololive International Championship. But now the Deadbeats are gonna have to return to their graves a bit sad, because their driver, who represents Maury Calliope, is now out of the count.
Party is indeed over for them. So, well, what a shame actually, as we have lost one of the 4 title contenders. So, going back to the summary of odds, we have Jake Martinez dead last.
Jake Martinez in 23rd right now. He's not going to be continuing any further. Adachi is still in it, but his chances have only slightly increased, but I think it's only like 0.01% at this rate, given that now it's now going to be a 2-horse race between Aziz Muazif and Zeke Wimberley. And as it stands right now, and given a bit of a what you call a stroke of fate and coincidence, Wimberley is now 1 position behind Muazif, but Wimberley doesn't need to pit again, but Muazif will have to pit 1 more time. Looking at the 7 remaining drivers who will be pitting, here's actually Bernardo Santiago. Or rather, that is not actually Bernardo Santiago. It is Bernardo Santiago, who is actually in the lead. So this is going to be pretty interesting to see how it works here, because Santiago is not yet to be called into the pit lane. Chanel Markman, Yuri Rafael de Oliveira, Javier Lusby are currently being called to the pit lane, but Santiago and Muazif will be called in between 2 or 3 laps time. Then actually they are going to be called, so they will leave 2 drivers who have yet to make their final pit stops. They're going to make their final pit stops essentially. Corey Mendez and Bernardo Santiago will be the last drivers who will be set to make their pit stops.
Yeah, that's it's going to be a bit of a tough thing for Santiago to overtake them, but no, he's actually getting through fairly easy, as as Wimberley has the heavier car. But you see there, he is not gonna give up easily, but he has to back off as he again has the heavier car.
And of course, and also
Mendes, sorry.
Yeah, I know. But of course, he needs to think about the big picture here. He has a heavier car, and of course, he's currently in the net race lead. So Wimberley knows that if he attacks and he suddenly crashes, then it's all over for everyone except Aziz Muazif. And right now, Wimberley, all he needs to do is to just keep the car on track and hope that he can stay inside the race lead. Right now, Liam Kai, who is currently, of course, a lap down to Zeke Wimberley, and of course Puerto Rico Mendes, I believe he's actually 2 laps down, and now Zeke Wimberley is gonna try to think of maybe a move against Santiago, because Santiago's not gonna be pitting in the next 2 laps. So right now Wimberley might think of a move, but also at the same time he's not thinking of a move. He just wants to keep the car in one piece.
Yeah, as we have Marco and Muazif, Evans, Lusby, De Oliveira all pitting now, leaving the way paved for Wimberley to take home the 3rd place now. So he is fighting with the
back marker of the
MK. Yeah, no, I was. Wait, isn't that Puerto Rico Mendes?
Yeah, no, it is Liam Kai in front. Yeah, it's Liam Kai up in front. But anyways, just wanted to highlight what we've been talking about. Zeke Wimberley doesn't need to attack as much as he should be right now. And if he does want to attack, he needs to make sure that he can attack in a safe environment. And by safe environment, I mean in a situation where he doesn't really compromise his position. Right now, Wimberley is just going to let Liam Kai go, because that's not his priority to attack Liam at the moment. But for now, just wanted to check on Muazif right now, who is also actually coming into the pits right now. He is going to be set to down 14th. And right now, with all the drivers clearing him, that's Yazid and Jensen and Sims are already clearing Muazif. He now finally gets out. So Muazif finally gets back into the race, down in 18th place. Mendes and Santiago finally come into the pits, and this is where Wimberley will be enjoying. This is the moment that Wimberley will be absolutely enjoying, and for all the saplings that Sarah's Fawn to be enjoying. Nature is not going to fully heal until Wimberley wins this race. Wimberley wins this race, he wins the Formula Hololive International Championship. That is when nature will fully heal.
But as we see, he is 1 minute behind, so either Mendes and Santiago takes it. But there's a good chance that Wimberley can actually catch them back. He just has to clear Liam Kai for now. Probably around this turn 7, maybe. Try something around the outside. But he's blocked off by Michan, that is. So.
And right now he is still trying, but he's still trying to attack Wimberley down the inside of Liam Kai. He knows he needs to find some time here against Mendes and Santiago, and of course Nicky Michan is in front of Zeke Wimberley. And right now Mendes and Santiago are still stationary at their pit boxes. Their services are not done yet. Zeke Wimberley has 2 corners to deal with. Now he's got the final corner to navigate, and he will have the assistance of Nicky Michan's slipstream. Santiago is now moving, and Corey Rico Mendes is also moving. Both of them coming out in front, and this will mean that Corey Rico Mendes, out of all people, will be taking the race lead, but they're still not over. As you can see here, Wimberley takes 2nd place, and as it stands right now, with Corey Rico Mendes having slightly colder tires, Zeke Wimberley might still have a chance to attack Corey Rico Mendes. He might take a move down the inside.
He's gonna try his best now. Down into 5th turn, that is. Now it's 6th, going down the back straight, being chased down by Kagawa as well. Liam Kai is in the mix as well. He doesn't. In the he laps down. Back mark. He's there, but he doesn't.
He's not supposed to. Yeah, I know he's just there. He's not supposed to essentially cause a lot of trouble. But what a surprise we're seeing here. Corey Rico Mendes is now your race leader. Takes up the opportunity to have a very good pit stop, the very flawless execution by the KFP team, and also Corey Rico Mendes is going to be here to see out the rest of this race.
This is not at all what Wimberley wanted, but he has to make do with what he has. So we'll see. He is losing time. He is not the fastest on track by a long shot, but all you can hope for is for messy back markers messing up with the Mendes.
And right now, looking at where Liam Kai is right now, he's attacking Nishimi-chan for 21st place. Next option will be Takeda Adachi. Now Adachi is currently out of title contention as it stands, with him already down in 20th. Here is Corey Rico Mendes already navigating turns 5 and 6. And here's Zeke Wimberley catching the Takanashi Kara driver. And actually, just wanted to talk about Takeda Adachi's conflict of interest. Adachi is currently representing Ninomai Inanis. The driver currently in the race lead is also from Hall of Myth. That is Takanashi Kara, represented by Corey Rico Mendes. But the driver in second is Zeke Wimberley. Of course, represents Sarasvana, and in Hall of Promise, which was Hall of Council, is inside, but isn't still Hololive English. So at this point, you might think that will Adachi move over for Mendes, or will he cause Mendes trouble and allow Wimberley to catch up?
I do not know. That is all up to their decision, because it doesn't change anything to Adachi. It changes a lot to Wimberley. So let's see if there's gonna be sportsmanship or corruption or whatever that's gonna be. So heading now down to turn 3, going to tricky turn 4.
And here's Takeda Adachi currently at turns 5 and 6, and currently stuck behind Hinochi Taiyo, who has been underperforming to say the least this season. Now with Ryan Kagawa up in 3rd place and Nichimi-chan outside the points, actually Adachi, or rather Michan, or rather Hinochi Taiyo, is gonna be in serious risk of actually falling outside the top 20 even as a full-time driver. That just shows you how bad Hinochi Taiyo's season has been. Even Hinochi herself has actually written off this season from like 3 to 4 races ago, saying like he said stuff like Hinover or Hinowarida. He basically has given up all hope for this season due to the sheer amount of lack of performance and bad luck for the Hoshinobu Muna driver.
You can see though Wimberley is actually back up catching Mendes from the 3 seconds that was during the pit stop. No, after the pit stop is now 1.8, 1.7. He's catching up quickly.
Yes.
What is that? Oh, Mendes is behind traffic, as I said before, that would have happened.
Anyways,
so
Wimberley has a chance
to overtake.
Yes, Wimberley knows he's got a golden opportunity to snatch the lead away and for him to grab the championship right before Muazif's eyes. Muazif is currently outside the points in A-team. His consistent run of form has now come to an end. As we said before, he's had a string of finishes inside the top 3, where I believe since round 2, from rounds 2 to 8, he's had 7 finishes inside the podium position. Also, he has won in the Spielberg Grand Prix at the Red Bull Ring, which also lifts spirits for the Risuner. And just wanted to check at Wimberley right now. He is right on his tail. Wimberley knows if he can make the moves right here at the final corner and make use of lap cars, Wimberley has a great chance of securing the title here in Indianapolis.
He just needs to get it over with. He just needs to get the jump, and then he'll be sure to hold up Mendes, because he's a very good defensive driver, as he can.
And he goes on the inside line. Unstoppable force meets immovable object. Here comes Zeke Wimberley. He's going to go around the outside of Corey Rico Mendes to take the lead away, and to hope that he should have a championship to lift at the end of it. Zeke Wimberley has to back off right now. And right now, Corey Rico Mendes is still hanging on to this race lead, but it's not going to be over yet.
As they are heading now down turn 7, Wimberley will not try anything. He is too far back. He's just going to catch up back to the first sector, I believe, as he's done now. Or maybe if Mendes slows enough, there's a 3rd sector, but my best bet is in turn 1.
Oh, you can see here, actually Corey Rico Mendes has actually messed up his run at turn 9, and you can see here Zeke Wimberley is going to take up the opportunity to make a move right here. And now coming into turn 12, Zeke Wimberley goes side by side with Corey Rico Mendes turn 13, on the outside goes Wimberley. Turn 14, on the inside goes Zeke Wimberley. And will he make the move stick at the main straight here in Indianapolis?
Side by side on the main straight.
And right now Wimberley is gonna try to stretch his legs as much as he can and try to go for a late braking move to put Corey Rico Mendes off, but he's gonna be steadfast there, Corey Rico Mendes. But Wimberley is still right on his side. Wimberley on turn 3, or rather turn 4, and now coming into the chicane, turns 5 and 6. This is where Corey Rico Mendes manages to play his car absolutely well, but they're still side by side. And now Liam Kye is gonna make his move to unlap himself. And you can see here, Zeke Wimberley is not over yet for the sapling driver, as Wimberley dives it down at turn 7. Still gonna be side by side. They've been side by side for almost a lap already.
They're tossing it out. Mendes doesn't have anything to gain out of this. It's not a few positions down the championship, but Wimberley has his own, the whole championship on him. He's doing everything he can to restore nature, as you keep saying, as I said before, as everybody's saying, to let nature heal. But Mendes won't let that go. He wants the win, regardless of who's behind him or who's gonna be in front.
Anyways,
down now
into the main straight, we have Zeke Wimberley actually losing a good amount of time there to Liam Kye. If Liam Kye makes a move there against Wimberley and he's not careful, then Wimberley is gonna have some sorts of troubles, as he's not gonna be able to pass with just one car. He's gonna have to pass 2 cars, and of course that one car is not even in the main lead lap. And right now Wimberley knows that, and he's gotta have to make his move as soon as possible against Liam. And right now he's able to get his defense stuff. He's got his defense all done. And now we have, speaking of which, Angela Sims and Sean Go trading blows between each other. And now it's all up to Wimberley to see if he can be able to catch up to Corey Rico Mendes.
As we have Muazif basically outside of contention in 18th place with somewhat a good 15 seconds to 14th place, which is Yuri de Oliveira.
Anyways, speaking of which, just wanted to check on to the current situation at the front. Mendes and Wimberley currently at 0.3 of a second. As you can see, Mendes was actually trying to get past the lap car of Takeda Adachi. Right now, Adachi is causing him all sorts of troubles. Corey Rico might think, come on, you are my Hololive teammate, just give me a bit of support. But Adachi also knows that he has a potential championship battle on his hands, and so he needs to make sure that he needs to find as much opportunities as he can, even if it was at the expense of some of his own teammates. And speaking of which, Liam Kye still goes side by side against Zeke Wimberley, of course. Wimberley knows he's gotta have to make his moves done ASAP, and as you can see here, both of them still side by side. Wimberley is able to defend for now. As Wimberley, of course, continues to get himself up in the front, try to get up there against Corey Rico Mendes. Corey Rico Mendes still tries to find something against Adachi. He actually has a very terrible exit. I believe it's in turn 10, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, turn 10. And now Wimberley is hot on the heels once again onto Corey Rico Mendes. Words are about to run out here to explain the racing action here in Indianapolis in the Indy Grand Prix finale. He's just gone a bit wide there, Corey Rico Mendes, and now Wimberley is gonna try to get a good run at that final corner coming into turn 1. Let's see where he goes. And diving down the inside goes Wimberley, as he tries to challenge Corey Rico Mendes once again. Corey Rico has to leave room against his fellow rival in this race, as Wimberley again gets shuffled off wide by Corey Rico Mendes, or rather gets shuffled out of position by Corey Rico Mendes. Corey Rico Mendes' defensive acumen has been absolutely nice to see, given that he hasn't been able to attack. He is able to defend though, and that should be his potential advantage. Now, a lot of we might be seeing some questions here. Would you rather want a KFP win or a sapling championship?
Me personally, I don't have a preference, but as I said before, history being written before my eyes, that's one thing to be wishing for in life. As we have Wimberley trying something, no, he has to back down, or as Rico Mendes actually closes the door. Now heading to the left, turn. I forgot the turns. Now heading down back to the main straight. Will Wimberley try something? It seems like he is too far, just 4 tenths, 5 tenths almost.
And we might be seeing
a back down in the first sector.
Anyways, we might be seeing a battle here between Takeda Adachi and Dan Evans and Hinochi Taiyo. And actually, Takeda Adachi has made a move there against Dan Evans and Hinochi Taiyo. And now the driver that's holding up Rico Mendes is actually Hinochi Taiyo. And speaking of which, another side-by-side battle between Wimberley and Liam Kai. It has happened multiple times already throughout the course of this race. But Wimberley just needs to keep himself ready. And speaking of which, Liam Kai is now under pressure from Ryan Kagawa and Bernardo Santiago, who is now joining up in this top 2 fight.
As you said, that Liam Kai was trying a kamikaze move on Wimberley, barely misses him, and Kagawa almost gets it done. Can he get it through this turn?
Yes, Kagawa might be able to clear the lap car of Liam Kai, and now Bernardo Santiago is going to follow as well. For the 3 of the 4 drivers up front. Here's Zeke Wimberley trying to go down the inside of Rico Mendes again, and let's see if Wimberley is able to cause good amounts of trouble for the KFP driver. As you can see here, Wimberley tries to get a good run off at the final corner. Meanwhile, Kagawa is going to go side by side with Liam Kai. Sounds of V6 engines roaring through the track here in Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and this is a very, very nice thing to hear. Basically, open wheel cars racing in Indianapolis, especially given the circumstances here, the final round of the 23-24 Formula Hololive International season. And speaking of which, here we can still see Rico Mendes now still under pressure from Wimberley. He needs to ace the chicane to get close to Rico Mendes, and now Rico Mendes is going to try to go around the outside, maybe the inside of Hinochi Taiyo, but there's a bit of a closing of a gap here. No, many of these drivers are going to try to make a move, so as it stands, the status quo will remain.
As we can see also, Muazif actually catching right back up to the Oliveira, as the gap is now barely 2 seconds. That is not good news for Wimberley at all.
Oh, it's Zeke Wimberley. He's actually going to take a move down the inside. And he actually got checked up there by Hinochi Taiyo. And now he's about to pay the price with Wimberley trying to hang around the outside of Rico Mendes. And now, side by side into the main straight. All Wimberley needs is to be a full car length ahead of Rico Mendes. But right now, the KFP faithful are hoping that Rico Mendes is able to maintain his position, and right now Zeke Wimberley almost has his job done. He just needs to stay a car length ahead, and of course Rico Mendes is going to make it very troubling for Wimberley. And as you can see here again, Rico Mendes places his car very, very well there. Another counter attack by Rico Mendes, executed to absolute perfection. And speaking of which, if you want to know where Muazif is right now, he is now in 18th place with Adachi. And guess who is actually behind Muazif? Evans, Hinochi Taiyo, and Rico Mendes and Zeke Wimberley.
So the leaders of the race are actually catching right back up on the back markers, which are also the championship leaders as of now. But it's not going to change anything for Wimberley. All Muazif needs is 14th place. As we have though Santiago, Miyuki, and Kawagawa falling down 2 positions as we were speaking.
As we were saying,
seems as if they lost pace.
Yeah, it looks to me that Kagawa has had a shocking shocking final sector there. He lost 2 positions there, Ryan Kagawa. And meanwhile, Zeke Wimberley is going to go down the inside of Rico Mendes once again. And as you can see here, Wimberley again needs to place his car absolutely superbly. Needs to have a car length against Corey Mendes, and right now, as you can see here, he effortlessly takes back the outside line and basically use that to his advantage. Maybe Wimberley needs to defend the outside line if he wants to have a very high chance of him actually winning his battle against Corey Mendes.
They surely need to get clear. They surely need to get rid of that traffic up ahead, because that's what let Rico get the position back twice. Because Wimberley, although he made perfect moves around 1, 2, and 3 and 4, he going down into 5th, he has to slow down because of Hinochitayo, that is. Because, you know, with Mendes taking the outside line, he has a smoother ride towards 5 and 6.
And speaking of which, there's a trolley train forming, and basically they're leading this trolley train, Dan Evans, right now. Look at the amount of drivers behind.
Yeah, they're gonna go all back together. As we can see up ahead, Jensen, Adachi, and Muazif, everyone. As we have Muazif fighting actually with Jensen, that is. As Adachi has jumped up and down and been changing positions, so we'll wait a bit to see who gets the jump on who. But again, Wimberley and Mendes are still there, still turn 5 and 6, and Wimberley cannot stop the Mendes from getting right back up.
And looking into the current situation here, Wimberley is actually getting very close there to Corey Mendes, but everyone knows that you should not be able to really think of a move here coming into turn 7 and now into the S section, turn 8 and 9. Speaking of which, Adachi and Yazi, Adachi is continuing his comeback pretty well here. He's now up into 15th place. You can talk about his poor qualifying run, but his race pace has been pretty okay. He's now up into 15th. Muazif has lost out just a bit, and he's going to probably continue on losing out to Sven Jensen. And as you can see here, Muazif tries to push Jensen aside, but Jensen is continuing to be up into the task as he now tries to put Muazif back down into 18th place. Wimberley's actually lost a good amount of time there to Corey Mendes, and this will at least have Wimberley give him amount of space and time to think of his next attacking move.
No, it's this, as you said before, the train is getting longer and longer. It's probably the whole race field in this train at this point.
And it looks to me that actually Moss is able to overtake Sven Jensen. Now he's up into 17th place. He's got the race awareness that he needs. Meanwhile, Zeke Wimberley, he needs to find something against Mendes to get himself into the race lead. All of the drivers have completed their pit stop strategies, so it's now down to raw racing action to decide the 23-24 Formula Hololive International champion, in addition to the winner of the Indy Grand Prix finale.
Adachi going up in the 14th place, jumping the Oliveira, but still being 27 seconds off of Sean Go. So it's doubtful that they go much further than that. But that's just what Muazif needs, 14th place.
And speaking of which, just want to check on Zeke Wimberley right now, who is actually trying to get himself back into contention against Corey Mendes. And also just wanted to highlight a bit, Angela Sims having a pretty quiet race here. If you look at where Sims is at the moment, down in 12th place, and then there's Bertelsen and Castanto, Don Ellis, Javier Lusby. They're having a pretty quiet time. But from Chanel Markman to Mendes, and from Nicky Michan to Takeda Adachi, it gets very hectic.
It does. And as we see, Wimberley still trying something, but he can't really squeeze much more out of the car, as it seems. Doesn't catch during the back straight, and he has to let off a bit, so doesn't look good for Wimberley, not one bit.
And just wanted to check on the current gaps right now. The gaps between Wimberley and Mendes are currently only 3/10. Again, still, Shongo has been overtaken by Takeda Adachi. Now Adachi is free to get himself closer to Angela Sims. But here's the thing, actually. If Adachi does the impossible and get himself, let's say, into the top 2, he needs 2nd or higher. If he, well, or rather, he needs 3rd or higher for Adachi to win the Formula Hololive International title, assuming Aziz Muazif finishes outside the points.
I'd see that as very unlikely considering the position that he is in. As we have Shango and Yazid trading blows. We have now Wimberley still behind as Mendes clears
yes, he clears Tayo. He's about to clear Hinoshi Tayo, and he's actually successfully done so. Rico Mendes has cleared the lap car of Hinoshi Tayo, which it took him a very long while for him to do so. And if you look at where Wimberley is right now, he is still stuck behind Hinoshi Tayo, and never mind that, he has to defend against Liam Kai, so there's a lot of dilemmas currently happening. And so right now, all Wimberley can hope right now, given his current position, is to hope that Rico Mendes fluffs it up somewhere during the remainder of the race. Meanwhile, Santiago and Miyuki having a very good scrap for third place.
As Wimberley has now lost a full second off of Mendes, that is looking worse and worse by the minute. Nature's leaves are starting to fall off the tree next to my house. Actually, this is not looking good at all.
And actually, to make matters worse, look at where Rico Mendes is right now. Looking at where he is, Sven Jensen has actually passed Sven Jensen and all that stuff. So as it stands right now, Wimberley has a lot of work cut out for him if he wants to have a shot against the basic. And you can see here Liam Kai has actually overtaken Zeke Wimberley.
Lim Kai now battling it out with Tayo, that is.
And now he finally clears Hinoshi Tayo. And it looks to me that his next target will be Liam Kai, Sven Jensen, and Dan Evans. Rico Mendes has actually managed to get past another.
Mendes is showing they got, again, another feather in the engine, I guess they did. But like last time, but who won last time?
Well, the defending race winner is of course Liam Kai, who won the Ontario Grand Prix. Wimberley is actually fighting the defending race winner, so of course Liam Kai has a lot of fight in him. But of course Wimberley also has that fight in him for him to try to win the Formula Hololive International Championship for Sarasvana.
Yeah, we seen last time how Mendes had been leading basically the last fourth of the race, and then chaos erupted, and the chaos consumer Liam Kai managed to snatch the win.
And speaking of which, Liam Kai makes his move against Sven Jensen for what should be 19th place at the moment. But right now, looking at where Rico Mendes is at the moment, he is actually struggling to pass the current championship leader, Aziz Muazif. Now, here's the weird part. Aziz Muazif knows that he needs to not disrupt Rico Mendes any further, given the Muazif's current position. Meanwhile, Santiago and Miyuki still going side by side. Santiago now has third place in what is still a beehive of racing action. Meanwhile, Wimberley has to think about defending against Sven Jensen. His tires, though, looking at the state at the moment, he is trying to work with what he's got, but right now it's not gripping to him as well as he had hoped for.
As you can see, Santiago and Miyuki still battling it out for third place, with Miyuki just on his gearbox. As you see, he takes back third place as they're battling it out through the last few corners. Hanorio on the outside, Santiago on the inside. Who will get the jump?
And right now, the gap between Mendes and Wimberley to about nearly a second there. And that's just on the surface level, because if you want to know the gaps between Zeke Wimberley and Rico Mendes in terms of cars, Liam Kai has actually, there's only back to one car actually. Right now, all Zeke Wimberley needs to do is to get past Liam Kai, and then the battle will still continue. Remember, we've only got past the halfway stage of the Indy Grand Prix. And right now, here's Liam Kai actually causing trouble to Rico Mendes. Chaos incarnate, Liam Kai is gonna have his hat in the ring. And right now we have Zeke Wimberley about to get himself back into racing action. Never say never.
Yeah, we've seen Liam Kai's strategy, which is somewhat of a very how do you say, risky type of driving, as we've seen often through the 5 and 6 chicane. He really likes to jump on them, and has raced 2 races for now already. He's raced Wimberley's race and Mendez's race, but he seems as Wimberley can easily clear him and get himself up right behind Mendez.
Anyways,
the gap down to
Brian Santiago, who was up in 3rd place for much of the race, is now down into 4th and under pressure to got dropped down into 5th place. Meanwhile, Zeke Wimberley has now cleared Liam Kai crucially, and now the battle is back on between the 2 leaders.
With Wimberley trying something down the inside.
Diving.
Can he do it?
Oh, that was a great dive bomb there from Wimberley to try to unsettle Corey Mendez, but Wimberley has the inside line, and Corey Mendez has the favorable outside line. Aziz Muazif right in front, and Wimberley has a few things in mind in front.
But he's there. He's there this time. Maybe he can try something down in the 7th turn, but seems like he has to back off and defend from Liam Kai. That is.
Anyways, just wanted to check on the situation. He's actually gonna think of a move down the inside. He might think of a move down the inside. He's too far back. So right now, Wimberley also has to think about Liam Kai actually hounding Wimberley's current position here. He is actually, oh, you can see here, Corey Mendez is actually squirming. His tires have basically given up in a sense. Everyone's tires have basically given up in a sense. So everyone is basically playing a game of chicken.
Yeah, the first one to box is gonna be the first one to be last, as of right now. Even though the gaps are, it's a bit of a well, doesn't matter. We understood, but yeah, it's gonna be tight. As all the tires, you can see it even from the camera, they're very worn out. It seems that Wimberley also has a flat spot on the front right. That's not good at all, but.
Well,
he's making good.
Well, he's making good on his current progress right now. Yes, it's true. Also, just wanted to highlight on the tire wear on the front right. It's actually just grainy, and it looks to me that every other driver all the other drivers here are currently experiencing the exact same thing. So right now, that is not going to be the one thing Zeke Wimberley has to be extremely worried about. His big worry is for him to get his spot in the race lead. And if there's going to be a pass on the last lap to decide the Formula Hololive International Championship, then that will be a move of the season.
Yeah, it's going to be something that's possibly it's going to be a first in the ARO, ain't it?
And yes, actually, we have Corey Mendez actually making the move against Aziz Muazif, and not before Zeke Wimberley has anything to say about it. Here's both championship contenders in very different amounts of laps. We have Aziz Muazif a lap down, Zeke Wimberley on the lead lap, and now you see that Muazif is now powerless to stop his championship rival from powering against his other championship rival. Well, his basically his rival needed. Well, I'm running out of words here, but right now we have Aziz Muazif just watching his championship rival get past him, and him trying to get into the lead of this race. And right now we have multiple changes here between 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th. Santiago and Markman, or rather Alashore and Santiago, Markman and Kagawa battling between each other. And right now we're still going to be fixated at the battle inside the top 2. We still need to know what's going to happen.
This is going actually down to the wire. This reminds me of it's a bit of a different scenery, a bit of different.
Imola 2005.
Oh, that far back, I haven't watched the championships, but
and actually, speaking of which, Hanari Miyuki has taken 2nd place away from actually Zeke Wimberley, but not before Zeke Wimberley will fight back once again. Now, here's the thing: if both Miyuki and actually Corey Mendez battle it out, and they both get distracted, and Zeke Wimberley takes the opportunity, then of course it's going to be another great move of the season. Maybe it's the move of the series, if that is going to be the case. Speaking of which, we have Miyuki now making a move down the inside of Corey Mendez. It's going to be a 3 wide at this stage. Hanare Miyuki goes down the inside. She hasn't been able to hasn't been able to smell the race lead for as long as she did. Well, maybe if you want to talk about the Ontario Grand Prix, yes. But right now, Hanari Miyuki still is unable to defend against Corey Recommendez's outside line, and now Zeke Wimberley is going to fight back.
They're just too tense. He's right on the outside of Miyuki. Ooh, bit of a wobble there from Miyuki, but Wimberley putting his nose there. Now down the inside. Can he keep it in front? Miyuki almost.
It looks to me that he's able to get the move done. The battle for the top 3. Look at how close the top 3 is right now. Only 0.5 of a second, half of the second separating the top 3, and we're only in the Grand Prix course. This is not the Indianapolis Oval. We're talking about the Grand Prix course, and based on what we are seeing here, we're seeing an absolutely amazing race in the closing stages of the season. And now we have Miyuki trying to hang on to her second place. Wimberley knows he's got to win this race, so Wimberley knows he has to keep on attacking right until the very end in order for him to even have a chance to win the Formula Hololive International Championship.
Probably a gamble right now, but if the top 3 can actually get the clearance of the last back marker, if the top 3 can actually do that and get say 5 seconds, Wimberley should, in my opinion, try a swap of tires, as everybody's tires are on.
Oh, you can see here both of them going side by side here in turn 7. That might actually open the door for Zeke Wimberley to make a double overtake maybe.
But he's far back. It doesn't seem like he's gonna try anything now, or he can't actually. We have now Miyuki in front, it seems.
And we have Zeke Wimberley going side by side again with Corey Recommendez, and this might be the move that sells it.
As we have the Phoenix now going into Ash, but gonna try again down the inside.
Oh, that's contact between the championship contender and the former race leader. Now Zeke Wimberley now has one obstacle once again, and that is actually Hanari Miyuki, who has been sneaking her way into the race lead, and now going down the inside line goes Zeke Wimberley. This could be the move to settle the championship. Zeke Wimberley still tries to find some space against Miyuki, but Miyuki will have the outside line at turn 5. Well, no, that's not the back marker. That's Hunter. Oh, okay, yeah, that's Rafael de Oliveira. Again, apologies for that. Sorry for getting riled up at a slightly incorrect time. But again, you can see here in front of Hanari Miyuki is Sean Go, currently driving for Gaogura in car number 99. He might be the decider of the 2023-24 Formula Hololive International season. The ultimate decider at that, as Hanari Miyuki thinks of a move. Zeke Wimberley gets close, sticks her nose in, but isn't really close enough. Zeke Wimberley needs to use the lap car as a pick, and by that I mean as a very, very solid pick. As you can see here, Miyuki now goes down the inside line of Sean Go, and Hanari Miyuki manages to get herself past, but looking at Sean Go, he's not able to make a counterattack. Hanari Miyuki screw.
Wimberley, this is not looking good for him. As now Miyuki is fleeing 1 second. 1-1 now. Yes, basically 1-1.
And this is where Hazik Yazid is right now. There's a lot of open space for Hanari Miyuki, and you can see it has a lot of time gained for her, and she's actually going to be set to win her first Formula Hololive International race in her ARO career. And right now with Zeke Wimberley still stuck against Sean Go, which will be a championship altering scenario, this will still give the door, leave the door open for Zeke Wimberley, or rather Aziz Muazif, to take it all. It's going to be a big ID day at this rate.
Because yeah, Miyuki, as you're saying, he's now at 2 seconds almost. No, yeah, 2 full seconds of gap, as Wimberley is struggling behind the Oliveira. Oh no, Sean Go, sorry. Oliveira is far back. As Sean Go is holding on for Atlantis. Yeah.
And right now, he finally makes his move down the inside of Sean Go. But right now, all he can hope is an interference and an intervention from Hazik Yazid and Angela Sims. These are the next drivers that may decide the course of action in the Formula Hololive International Championship run.
Yeah, that's where Miyuki still pulls away, but Wimberley seems to be
able to catching up.
Is almost
Catching up.
Nah, he's 1.5 seconds slower the lap, it seems. So it's not
Mostly,
looking good for him at all.
Well, for now, because that was because I believe it was 2/3 of a lap. He was actually stuck behind a lap car of Sean Go.
Now he's gaining. Now he is gaining. In fact, it's now coming down to 2.4.
And speaking of which, Kagawa and Lusby, or rather Kagawa and Elise going side by side. Dawn Ellis has been pretty amazing here in that crazy Ollie car since replacing Keiko Takaboshi. Dawn Ellis for the Zomrats, she's able to get herself in a pretty decent position to get herself up. But now she has to defend against Javier Lusby, her fellow ID class member, and it's going to be 3Y. It's going to be very ugly, 3Y. There's going to be contact between the three. And it looks to me that they're able to continue as it stands, and now it's still going side by side there between Kagawa and Elise. Elise now goes down the inside at turn 10, shuffles Kagawa off wide, and as you can see here, as we mentioned, Wimberley is actually slowly catching up to Hanari Miyuki. The gaps now were at 2.5, now it's dropped down to 2.1. $119.0 for Hanari Miyuki, 118.6 for the sapling driver for Serafana, Zeke Wimberley, as you can hear the guys keep on dropping. And look who's joining the party, Corey Rico Mendez. He's not done yet. The KFP is not giving up. The KFP employee is not giving up. Takanashi Kara isn't going to show. He's not going to throw in the towel anytime soon. Neither does the entirety of KFB or Corey Mendez in this regard. But the case is that these two drivers are now gonna be aiming to get something against Hanari Miyuki. Now, here's the thing: Wimberley needs to stay ahead of everyone and hope that Muazif doesn't progress any further than where he is at the moment. At least not touching 14th or 13th. If Wimberley is able to take this race lead, or which he hasn't been able to take this race lead since the start of the race, but he did place himself in a great position at the very least, then he should be able to at least get himself closer. And you can see 119.4 for Miyuki, 119.1 for Wimberley, 119.0 for Corey Mendez, and he's now going to go down the inside line. But since Wimberley has the outside line coming into turn 1, and as such coming into turns 3 and 4, then it's going to be something for Wimberley to hang on to. And as you can see, that is what we've been mentioning about, and they're still side by side, turns 5 and 6. And you can see here Corey Mendez actually having the superior grip at turns 3 and 4 to hang on to where he is at the moment compared to Zeke Wimberley's completely aged tires. And as you can see, Wimberley and Corey Mendez now going side by side. This will give Miyuki a bit of a breather, a sigh of a relief for the Koboker. But of course, and there you can see here Corey Mendez blowing yet another dagger in the heart of Zeke Wimberley as he knocks steals second place.
So as I was saying before, I think that the best course of action for Wimberley at this rate of wear for the tires is to pit, because he's losing too much time now thanks to those worn out tires. He just needs to go in for a stop, but as you said, as you mentioned earlier, way earlier, is that the pit stop is very long and he's gonna be
losing a lot of time.
Yes, exactly.
And right now, it's still not over yet. Here's where Hazik Yazid is. He's currently just exiting turn 6. Here's Hanari Miyuki right now, turns 3 and 4. Same goes for Corey Mendez. Same goes for Zeke Wimberley.
Sorry to interrupt you. Kai and Muazif fighting for 17th place, so that means worse luck for Wimberley because Muazif is getting closer. But Liam Kai is a fighter down into 5th and 6th.
He should be able to still go side by side. Meanwhile, Ella Shore and Markman also going side by side. Here's Ella Shore around the outside of turn 7. Here's Chanel Markman again trying to go for the counter attack. And right now, Still 2 side-by-side battles. You can't get enough of this racing here in Indianapolis. It's just these cars, they just deliver a lot of racing action here. You can expect fans absolutely enjoying the racing action here. Anyways, just wanted to highlight a few things. If you're watching this stream, please share with us your favorites to win this race and the championship. We would like to see your thoughts about the current race so far. And as you can see here, Wimberley is actually faster than Corey Risuners on that previous lap. And as you can see here, Corey Risuners has now caught up to Hanari Miyuki there. So there's going to be a top 2 battle. And also, Zeke Wimberley is now being under pressure by Bernardo Santiago in 4th.
Which is the gaps are Santiago 0.5 to Wimberley and Wimberley 2.2 from Mendes, so that is not good even, but it's gonna be very good for Santiago getting his second podium, is it? And very good for Muazif, just chilling it back down in 17, while De Oliveira is actually catching up to goal with as they're betting it right now.
And speaking of which, Yuri Rafael De Oliveira battling out with Sean Go for the final points position. Not the first time they've actually done this. Remember the Sepang Super Prix? Now we're going to be seeing an encore of this here in Indianapolis. But De Oliveira just ahead of Sean Go for position. And now it's going to be De Oliveira who has the final points position right now.
They still got a score to sell, but it seems Gasco has to back down. And Muazif will make best of this opportunity, it seems, to get himself back into 16th and possibly try to reach 15th, no 14th, that is.
And you can see here Zeke Wimberley now under pressure from Bernardo Santiago. Bad to worse there for Wimberley, but then again, he's actually pulling out all the cards since he's had to make that one-stop strategy. The only driver to have made the one-stop strategy, actually, if you look at the pit stop chart, he is the only driver who have made only like one pit stop, apart from Ryan Kagawa and Sean Go, that is, and Nichi Michan. And also, here's, let's ignore the fact that Corey Risuners has made 4 pit stops, because I think that's a bit inaccurate. But I think he only made like 2 pit stops, so that should be all that we need to talk about. But anyways, Wimberley has now dropped down to 4th place. He has tried everything in the book to get himself where he needs to be. But right now, with him, with his inconsistent season all round, finally coming in to bite him, he might have to think whether or not things would have gone a bit differently in the previous races. Because in terms of consistency, no one has been able to beat this driver here, Aziz Muazif. Despite not being able to score points in the final 2 races of the season, his performances from rounds 2 to 8 have been absolutely remarkable. No finishes below 4th place. He's only been able to finish 4th and 3rd between rounds 2 and 7 until the Spielberg Grand Prix, where he finally wins that race. Talk about an amazing season for the Risuners.
Yeah, they're gonna be celebrating with cashew nuts, which are Lisa's favorite. There's gonna be surely some almonds also. Those are good as well. But as now, it's not. It seems like, as you said, the reserves are getting ready for the party, but the saplings are still cheering on Wimberley, the Fauna driver. As it seems, Santiago is catching up to Mendes, and Mendes is catching up to Miyuki, while Wimberley is just staying at the same rate. So maybe there's gonna be a 4-way fight for the win of this race around the end. But for now, Wimberley is in a very bad spot. Tires are cooked, Carz heavier than others. Doesn't look good.
But anyways, we saw that on the final pit stop between Santiago and Corey Risuners. Corey Risuners actually beat Bernardo Santiago, and of course we want to talk about Hanari Miyuki though. She made her pit stop and actually got into like the top 4, top 5. Given where she started 9th, managed to get up into the top 5 after the pit stop strategies. and to basically sneak up on all the other drivers and to steal this race lead away on what would be a pivotal championship deciding race. This is just absolutely mind-blowing.
It's a show. It's a true show of skill, or a show of true skill, that is, with Miyuki now not giving back an inch to Mendes, which is now stuck at 1.4. Santiago losing more time, and Wimberley losing even more.
Which is absolutely a bit of a shame there for Wimberley, but then again, he's thrown everything he could. He's thrown all the hats in the ring, and of course he's got nothing left to fight for. Well, nothing left that he could actually put up if given his current condition here. Looking at Hanari Miyuki, who's currently on lap 56, 55 laps complete. Here's Hazik Yazid. Maybe there might be some surprises right at the end. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, because right now this seems like the most probable outcome of Muazif being the champion, because Wimberley can't do much more. He's can't do much more himself.
Yeah, he's done everything he could. Just wanted to highlight about the, as we mentioned here, Aziz Muazif didn't have the best start in the season. Of course, he was actually, if we look at the history in the Formula Hololive point standings, if you look at Aziz Muazif's performances in the previous races, especially after, like, he only finished in 8th at Circuit of the Americas, and in the Phillip Island Grand Prix he finished only 13th. That is basically his start of the season. But since round 3, since coming into Mandalika, he scored a third, another third, and then he scored another 4th place, and then he scored a 3rd place once again, and then a 4th, and then again we're going to ignore the capture the moment races, and then he found his way into a race win in round 8 at Spielberg at the Red Bull Ring. He's got an amazing mid-season. Like, his start and the end, he's gonna be set to not have any great moments. But if you have like the season start from Mandalika to the Red Bull Ring, then you can be absolutely sure that Kaminari Riba, or rather Aziz Muazif, can win the championship by a massive landslide, and that is what we're seeing here at the moment. Despite despite not really being available in the first 2 and final 2 races of the season, in the middle 6 races, he has been able to output something we have not seen in a long while. This sheer amount of consistency in the international scene has got to be something that anyone must admire.
Yeah, but it seems right now he's doing nothing as Kai overtakes him fairly easy. As they're still battling it out, but as Muazif is losing time towards Kai, he has actually lost time, and they're now battling it out through the last few turns. But it seems Muazif is gonna stay in front, even though Liam Kai, as knowing their nature, is gonna try something else throughout first and second corner until they get through, as they are actually getting closer to Shango and Oliveira.
And they're going side by side there. Actually, Shango with Elmet El Ashore. Basically, it's just El Ashore trying to move Shango away. As the Oliveira actually has a good amount of space against Shango. Speaking of the top 2 right now, Miyuki has extended her lead by 1.7 seconds. Santiago's catching up to Rica Mendes. Zeke Wimberley is losing touch by a mile.
As he's, as you said, 4.5 seconds off. Meanwhile, Santiago, Mendes, and Miyuki are having a party up there. Mostly Mendes and Santiago, with just 5 tenths dividing the two. As they are, in fact, 2 tenths faster than Miyuki on the lap.
And speaking of which, Aziz Muazif actually overtaken Shango. So basically Muazif is actually gonna get his momentum back into his direction, Muazif. So he's just going to move on where he is right now. Wimberley, of course, still losing touch to all the other drivers with his extremely worn out tires from front to the back, from left to right. Speaking of which, Bernardo Santiago might actually provide us with one last upset with him trying to get himself close into the race lead. Speaking of which, Miyuki has actually caught up with the lap car of Hazik Yazi.
And now Kai overtakes Sean Go as the Atlantis Power is failing the Sean Go, the Gorgura driver, and it seems as if this time fire prevails over water. That's not very physical proof, but yeah, that's what's happening now.
Anyways, just wanted to check on the current situation between Corey Rico Mendes. Oh, and there's a big contact between Chanel Markman, Don Ellis, and Kagawa. Sean Go has been involved as well. So that's Sean Go out of the race as well. Another retirement, and this would put Aziz Muazif further up if Sean Go was actually ahead of Muazif. And what was a pretty underwhelming season for Sean Go, for his perspective, in his eyes, is gonna come to an end in a pretty awful way for him. Abrupt, that is, yeah, true. But anyways, Corey Rico Mendes is now back in contention against Hanari Miyuki, who's struggling to get past Hazik Yaze, and look who's also going to benefit.
But for as much as he can benefit, he is now, as you will see, Sean Go park there. He's now 4/10 up. This is only gonna be good for him.
At least for him to get closer. This might be his lifeline.
The last chance.
This is his lifeline to get him back into the game. If you want to talk about football terms, imagine your opponents going 2-0 up or 3-0 up and 3-0 against you.
It's a 3-2.
Yes, I know. And then you start to find some 1 or 2 goals to get yourself back in contention. Basically, if
you get 6 extra minutes.
Yeah, I know, 6 extra minutes of stoppage time to find something to get an equalizer, especially in a cup tournament, where if you manage to get an equalizer in football, you will essentially put yourself into extra time and maybe into penalties. But who knows what the next final few laps here will entail here in Formula Hololive International. 18 laps to go here in the Indy Grand Prix finale. The conclusion of the 2023-24 Formula Hololive International season is just 18 laps away. And right now, Zeke Wimberley is closing in. Well, I think he's gaining like 2 seconds to the leading pack.
Yeah, he's gained a full second now, so it's like 1 second a lap at this rate, but it's gonna go to 0.7 possibly, as maybe not even. It's gonna be maybe 1 second still. As
you can see here side by side goes Corey Rico Mendes and Hazik Yazi. Hazik Yazi has been overtaken by both Miyuki and Corey Rico Mendes. So it's a false dawn for what we're seeing here, as Miyuki and Corey Rico Mendes have cleared the lap car of Hazik Yazi, and soon enough Bernardo Santiago will do the same thing. So not really troubling the top 3. So, and looking into the next drivers who will cause a bit of trouble, Takeda Adachi currently in 13th place. Again,
he's gonna cause some trouble to the top, to the leaders, and he's gonna get lapped the second times, isn't this?
Well, no, Adachi is currently on the lead lap. He will go a lap down, assuming he gets overtaken by Hanari Miyuki.
Oh, okay.
Anyways,
already been overtaken.
Yeah, anyways, just wanted to check on the current situation here between Yuki and Mendes and Santiago. Santiago has managed to get past Hazik Yazi, and now next in line to pass the, what you call it, weapon boy, I guess, is of course the Zeke Wimberley in question, who is the last remaining driver who is able to challenge Aziz Muazif for the title, given that Martinez has already crashed and Adachi is currently down in 13th place. And given that this is as far as he could have gone, at least we can applaud him for his effort. That is the least we could do.
Yeah, I'll be sure to bring him to a bar to drown out the sadness after this one.
Well,
But
but then again, you probably can only give him like sparkling or rose tonic because no. Well, sorry, we're talking about Zeke Wimberley, right? Wrong person. But anyways, Zeke Wimberley, I'm not sure if he's in a legal age to do so, but whatever the case is, you can probably give him like root beer as an alternative.
yeah. Actually, a fun fact for Americans, I listen to me. I'm not encouraging it, but being given the permission to your parents in your own home for drinking, that's legal.
Well,
So,
that is well,
fun fact.
which it can happen, but it's of course not recommended. But yeah, I would suggest not doing it if you're not over the age of 18, anyways. And of course, it varies
And
by
not
state.
overdo it even if you can.
Yeah, I know. We all know about the dangers of over drinking, but let's not get sidetracked here. Right now we have Hanari Miyuki now losing a lot of time there to Corey Rica Menez and Bernardo Santiago. Any misstep by these three drivers can put Zeke Wimberley back into the game.
And now he's losing time again.
Against Hazik Yazid.
But it seems
That
that
he might be able to get a run in, but he's a bit too far back there. So Wimberley is gonna have a bit of a trouble. He's already lost like over a second there to both Miyuki Mendez and Santiago. So right now, these three drivers currently in the top three right now, they're just hanging around as usual up in front. You know, trying to find an opportunity to get past each other as we are now getting into 15 laps to go before the end of the season.
I was asking if we could get a check on Adachi to see how far up ahead he is of the pack.
Well, he's
So that
currently,
Yeah.
yeah, this is where he is right now. Nichimi-chan's currently in 21st. Takeda Adachi is currently in 13th. This is where Hanari Miyuki is right now. So Takeda Adachi is currently in the final sector, the final set parts of the circuit, and Hanari Miyuki is coming into the final sections. So we still have a battle on our hands because we have a driver 1 lap down and a driver 2 laps down in the form of Nichimi-chan.
Yeah, we do actually. But it seems to me that unless Adachi actually slows down a lot because of Nichimi-chan, Wimberley will have the toughest of times as he's now at 4.4, 4.5 again. We're back to square one. He is back to square one, setting 0.7 seconds lower laps than Santiago, which is surely not the fastest among the three.
Anyways, it will take a miracle for Zeke Wimberley to get past all three cars and put him in championship winning position, on which he has to win this race in order for him to win the 23-24 Formula Hololive International Championship. And right now, given the current context and the circumstance that Wimberley is in, here's Corey Rica Menez getting close to Hanari Miyuki. And actually, if you come think about it, Miyuki isn't actually pulling away against Mendez and Santiago, and actually she is actually kind of holding them back. So I'm not sure if there's a thing. I think the best possible explanation is Miyuki's tires, of course, being worn out, and of course this would cause Miyuki's performance levels to go down a bit. So right now, as we're seeing here, Miyuki is still continuing on as usual. And right now, where is Takeda Adachi? Right at the end of the main straight. Where is Miyuki right now? Just crossing the line.
But there is a chance of them losing time for Wimberley, but it may not be enough. There is 12. No, wait.
They're matching.
Yes, 12 laps to go. 12 laps to go, and
anything still goes. Anything still goes. Nothing. You cannot give up. You have to run until the very end, because at the end a result will come for you, even if you don't think you deserve it, because there are other drivers who just probably have messed up early or in the mid stages or later on in the race. Just focus on finishing the race. That's what it matters, and that's what Zeke Wimberley is hoping at the very least that he's able to do. He will at least go out fighting, and that is a quality trait that we can at least admire about Wimberley, at least if he doesn't actually get to win the championship and this race.
as a certain wise mechanic once said to a certain unwise 25-year-old, it's not over until the fat lady sings, which is a reference to, which is just saying it's not over until the bell rings.
Well, yeah, that's the idea. Well, that's the idea. It ain't over until it's over. And now you can see here Takeda Adachi trying to think of a move against Angela Sims. Battle for, or rather, it's not Angela Sims, sorry. It's Nichimi-chan. Here's Adachi trying to put Adachi trying to put Nichimi-chan a lap down to Adachi. Meanwhile, Miyuki and the rest of the leading pack are slowly catching up to, again, we have basically it's the same trolley train between them. You can see there's Stefan Nochitayo, there's Javier Lusby and Juan Castanto, there's Van Jensen, Bertelsen, and Evans, and Angela Sims, and of course Nichimi-chan and Takeda Adachi.
Which in the end, if proves to be what was the one that's
and right now we have Miyuki Menes and Santiago inside the top 3, and right now in front of them is Nichimi-chan and Takeda Adachi. This is where they are at the moment, and right now we have a bit of a change of positions there, possibly for Hori Rico and Hanari Miyuki. Meanwhile, we have Chanel Markman and Don Elise going side by side at turns 5 and 6, coming to the back straight into turn 7. Chanel Markman is in the inside line. Don Ellis is there, up to the task to try to hang around the outside line, nearly making contact at 2, but they're still good to go. As you can see here, getting in a bit close for comfort for these two. And speaking of which, we have Miyuki getting very, very close there to the backpack drivers, back of the pack drivers, that is Adachi and Nichimi-chan. Nichimi-chan has been overtaken by Takeda Adachi, and Adachi is set to make his move against Angela Sims. Meanwhile, Markman and Elise still going side by side
through the to the first to the main straight, heading down to the first corner. Ellis down the inside, Markman down the outside in the less defensive position, and it's breaking down the inside. Can she get the move done? But no, has to back down. For now, no. Now into turn 3, that is
4.
Into turn 4, very tricky.
And looks like Chanel Markman might have the outside line, but Chanel Markman might just go side by side. And you can see here, Hanari Miyuki is about to catch up to at least Nichimi-chan right here in P21, last car running. And you can see here Zeke Wimberley is actually slowly catching back up. It is what I would have said, but he's actually lost a good amount of time. It's still 4 seconds between Wimberley and Santiago, 5 seconds between Miyuki and Wimberley. And right now, you want to know about the battle between Markman and Elise. It's kind of over for now, as Markman hangs around in 7th place. But you can see here Don Elise has a good run coming into turn 12, but nothing comes of it,
as they're just wasting time on each other to catch Kanagawa, but that does not affect Wimberley at all. Again, the focus of the main race, as he is catching up. This now for 3.6 seconds. Meanwhile, the top 3 already all have around 3 to 4 tenths dividing each other, as Corey Rico Mendes gets very close to Miyuki.
Yes, now and they're all stuck behind Nichimi-chan. They're all stuck behind the Fuawa Beast Guard driver, and this will give the advantage back to Zeke Wimberley. He needs to find the time. He needs to hope that the top 3 are still stuck behind the lap car of Nichimi-chan. And because right now Wimberley, he needs to get that race win to get the championship for Sarasvana and the Saplings. And actually, just want to add a bit, if Zeke Wimberley wins this race, it will be 4 in the season, and he will break the record for most wins in most wins for any Formula Hololive driver, period, in a points-paying race. Oh well, in a points-paying race for Formula Hololive International. And well, if you want to talk about broad Formula Hololive, he will break the record for most wins outright. Shaolin Reza currently has the record for 4 3-points paying and 1 invitational race. Wimberley has won 4 points paying races, and if he can win his 5th in all Formula Hololive competitions and his 4th for Ceres Fauna, it will be a very special win for this young driver.
And he is now right with the pack, 3.3, as everybody is now 0.5 basically from one another, which with Mendes being the closest to 0.37. It's looking good now. It's looking good for Wimberley. Down to the last turns they go. The little train brought in by Miyuki. No, not Miyuki, by Michan. Followed by Miyuki, Mendes, and Santiago. Close by Wimberley.
And you can see here Wimberley's going to try to find a move. He's going to have to find a move soon. There's only like 8 laps to go here in Indianapolis. Time's running out for Wimberley. He needs to find a move as soon as possible. Miyuki, on the other hand, is gonna at least try to tiptoe her way against Michan. As you can see, all of them are struggling for grip. Look at the state of the tires for all of these drivers. Meanwhile, we have Miyuki just trying to hang on for dear life. Corey Rico Mendes might think of a move against Miyuki. Santiago might think of a move against Corey Rico Mendes. And Zeke Wimberley is going to be thinking of a move against all odds. Let's see if Wimberley can find something.
As they're running down turn 7, Miyuki tries to sneak but has to back down, as does Rico. Meanwhile, Wimberley and Santiago are just trailing behind.
Oh, and Corey Rico Mendes dived down the inside of Hanari Miyuki. And also, Bernardo Santiago has his line a bit, has scuffed his lines a bit. And you can see Corey Rico Mendes has stolen the lead away from Hanari Miyuki. And right now, Miyuki is going to think of fighting actually Corey Rico Mendes back. What was her lead? What was her race lead for most of the race is currently come undone by Corey Rico Mendes with a few laps to go, as Corey Rico Mendes is going to peel down the inside of Dichi Michan.
As the Wimberley now is far back, but he is the second fastest of the bunch, it seems, right behind Bernardo Santiago.
And Corey Rico Mendes manages to clear.
Rico's through.
He's just about through. He's just about through. And at this rate, if currently as things stand, Corey Rico Mendes wins this race. Corey Rico Mendes will win the final race of the 23-24 Formula Hololive International season, and the title will go to Aziz Muazif.
Yeah, and well, it's still not over. So as we have Miyuki clearing Nishimichan, which is struggling, Bernardo Santiago having to slow down a lot and holding up Wimberley, and now Miyuki Mendes pulling away with a 1.8 from Miyuki. Santiago being almost 1.2 behind Miyuki, and Wimberley still behind Santiago, and Michan is not looking good, but it's not over yet. 6 laps to go, almost 5.
Yeah, 6 laps to go before the end of this race and the season, as Wimberley is desperate for a move against Santiago. Santiago will be looking very handsomely for a move against Nichimi-chan coming into turn 1. Just wanted to check on the current situation. Corey Rico Mendes is about to clear his own fellow first-gen teammate, as he's able to do so with relative ease. The KB driver has not won a Formula Hololive race outright. He has won in the EN class multiple times last year, but not in this capacity. Corey Rico Mendes now is about to clear the champion-elect Aziz Muazif, and for Corey Rico Mendes, it's going to be something quite befitting given Muazif's current situation here. Or rather, we got the wrong driver. It's actually that is Dan Evans. So again, whoopsies. Anyways, Hanari Miyuki tries to clear Takeda Adachi. Bernardo Santiago has passed Nichimi-chan. Zeke Wimberley hasn't passed Nichimi-chan.
2 seconds off of Santiago, which is very close to Miyuki, but Miyuki manages to fend off and lead the way again. 0.5 Santiago. And it seems that this will be the closing of the race with just 5 laps to go. No, 4 laps to go. No, 5, I can't. 4, yes, 4 laps to go.
Anyways,
starting the last one now.
Anyways, just wanted to check on the certain things. The trophies are about to start being etched here in the name of Muazif, especially given the current situations here and with Wimberley's current situation. Here's Santiago trying to steal second place away from Hanari Miyuki coming to turns 3 and 4. Maybe the race win for Santiago may not be lost on him. Speaking of Wimberley, what is going to be lost is his championship aspirations going down to dust. The favorites are going to be winning the championship after all, and everyone's going to be ready to write the name as it was the 23-24 Formula Hololive International champion. Although we still have a few laps to go, given Wimberley's position, given Adachi's position, and given Jake Martinez is out of the race, it may very well be the case.
Yes, it seems that this is gonna go in the favor of the Muazif, yes, but which fan base?
Anyways, also just wanted to check on the other drivers who have been performing very, very well. Speaking of drivers who have been performing very, very well, let's take a look back into the progress chart. See the biggest gainers of the race so far. Again, it's still Hanari Miyuki, the biggest gainer of the race, who started in 9th, who has now gained 7 positions up into at least the podium positions. At this rate, she will match her best finish in Formula Hololive, which she had done so in the Phillip Island Grand Prix earlier in the season. The biggest loser, unfortunately, has got to be Liam Kai, who started 12th, who's now down in 17th.
As we are closing in with the last laps, seems as yes, this 3 laps to go, with Mendes leading, 3.8 from Miyuki, 1.8 Santiago to Miyuki, and Wimberley just 2 seconds off of Santiago. This seems less than favorable for the saplings and nature.
Yeah. Anyways, speaking of which, Aziz Muazif is currently a lap down. Here's Aziz Muazif is currently in 16th place. Here's Bernardo Santiago and Zeke Wimberley. So we might still have some time to prepare a few things. So anyways, that may not be the most important thing that we need to talk about right now. The highlight of the story is Corey Rica Mendez, who has been denied of a race win multiple times throughout his time in this season in Formula Hololive. More specifically, what happened in Canada, in Mosport, in Ontario, when he was battling against the very driver that denied him the opportunity to win for a KFP for the first time back in like last week. And now Zeke Wimberley might feel like karma is gonna finally affect him, given that Corey Jimenez is gonna be the one who will take his championship winning chance away. It's a bit poetic if you come think about it in the perspective of Corey Mendez, but then again, it's karma. You get what you take what you give, and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a complete unforgiving balance that doesn't listen to its or buts. It's just gonna do its job.
Anyways, Corey Mendez just needs to survive over 2 more laps for him to secure his first Formula Hololive victory overall for Takanashi Kara and for the KFP. Of course, Takanashi Kara has bestowed support for the series and the car and the driver, and of course, as a KFP employee himself, Corey Mendez has shown a lot of enthusiasm and support for his cause to get some W's, the big dub for the KFP and all the employees and Takanashi Kara and all that stuff. That is what he is currently doing right now here in Indianapolis. He may not be able to do so in Spielberg, Austria. He may not be able to do so last week in Ontario, but he might at least be able to do so right here in Indianapolis on the final race of the season when everything's wrapping up. This is gonna be very, very nice to see.
So you sure will. As going forward, we see the podium fighters still having some tire left, but Santiago just losing and losing, with Elashur actually catching up. You can see that from what was 23 is now 18. as Wimberley is now 7 seconds off of Santiago and basically 9 seconds off of Mendez.
And that is probably as good as dead is the championship aspirations. Nature was healing, but as it stands, the plans for nature healing will be put on hold as Zeke Wimberley, he qualified as high as 3rd place in the end of the qualifying session in a desperate attempt for him to win the title given Muazif's current predicaments. And now with the final lap starting, Corey Mendez is gonna send
being the slowest of the top 3, that is, with Santiago being the fastest. Maybe there's gonna be an overtake from Miyuki down to the last few sectors. But
yes, especially given that Miyuki is actually directly behind Corey Mendez. But that won't matter too much because right now, Corey Mendez, all we need to talk about is that he has had a very amazing pit stop strategy. We can't deny about that.
Yeah, really, it's was a great race, but all great things must come to an end.
And anyways, Corey Mendez has only a few corners left to deal with. The KP driver has seen ups and downs throughout the season. Of course, a crash at Ontario was a low point, but now Corey Mendez is going to be at the high point literally a week later. The sparks will fly for the Hinotori driver, for the KFP employee who stood true from all the highs and lows. Corey Mendez is going to cross the line to win the Indy Grand Prix finale, and with Hanari Miyuki finishing 2nd, Bernardo Santiago 3rd, and Zeke Wimberley finishing 4th. It's going to be Aziz Muazif who is going to be crossing the line in just a moment's time, and we will be able to confirm to you all that the Risuners is Aziz Muazif representing Ayunda Risu. Stand up and clap for the number 62 driver. He wins the 23-24 Formula Hololive International Championship.
In what seems to be not the most hectic fashion, but he brought it home. He brought the bread. Or should I say that? So should I say the nuts? He brought home the nuts for everyone. So nature will have to heal from that, getting as so close as 3rd, even actually having 2nd place, but never really touching the top, never really touching the lead. Wimberley threw everything. Wimberley and the Saplings threw everything they could at Muazif, but it really didn't matter in the end as he finishes 4th.
But literally, hats off to Aziz Muazif. Only 1 win throughout the season, but he has been by far the most consistent driver in the season. But still, like I mentioned, his achievements must not be underestimated in any capacity. Again, let's take a look back into the champion as he is essentially celebrating his championship win. Let's take a look at him. This is your 23-24 champion. Amazing.
Yes. One could say he basically did a Lauda, which back in 75 he won without wins, but we shouldn't be talking about him. Now it's his time. It's his time to raise the flag, raise the trophy, and just take it all home, drink the champagne, do whatever, and just enjoy the moment. He's done it. He won.
Anyways, let's take a look into the race results for the final race of the season, the Indy Grand Prix finale. So let's take a look here onto the lineup here. Corey Mendez has taken a win here for Takanashi Kiara and for the KFB. Hats off to the team for winning the final race of the season, and we can finally confirm that all but 1 win throughout the entire Formula Hololive International season has been won by EN class cars. Only 1 ID class win throughout, and of course that's got to be from Aziz Muazif. Hanari Miyuki has grabbed a 2nd place, equaling her best ever finish for Kobo Kanaeru. And then we have Bernardo Santiago, 3rd place for Watson Amelia. Zeke Wimberley, he's got to be fuming that this is as far as he could go, as far as him trying to challenge for the title in the final race of the season for Sarasvana. Ahmed Al-Shor, 5th for Kyla Kowalska, continues his good run. Let's see what he can do next season. Ryan Kagawa, 6th. His first points for the board for Nerissa Ravencroft. His only points for the board for Nerissa Ravencroft this season. And then we have Chanel Markman, 7th for Fuamoko. Well, Mokoko Bisgar in this case. Don Ellis, 8th for Crazy Ollie. Alexander, 9th for Orocroni. Javier Lusby, 10th for Vesta Zeta. 11 goes to Ethan Burleson for Nana Shimomi, and Angela Sims rounds out the top 12th place for Anya Melfisa, the last of the lead lap cars. Takeda Adachi, the first driver, a lap down for Inamai Nanas. Another one of the championship contenders who fell by the wayside. Hazi Yazid, 14th for Shiori Novella, and then we also have Yuri Rafael de Oliveira getting the final points of the season for Pavlia Reine. As it was, it may not score points, but with his performances from rounds 3 to 8, with his extremely consistent run, we can safely call him a champion from those 6 races alone. Liam Kai finishes 17th for Hakos Bale, Shinoshi Tayo 18th for Hoshinabamuna. Oh, it's got to be a pretty miserable season for the Munafiks. Sven Jensen 19 for Iris, and Dan Evan rounds out the top 20 for Ironio 15. Ichimichan 21st for Fuawa Bisgar, Shango 22nd, and also Shango 22nd for Gaogura. And I should just want to highlight to you that Dan Evans is the first driver to go 2 laps down, and Ichimichan is the driver to go 2 laps down. Shango was involved in a crash at turn 7, as well as Jake Martinez, another one of the championship hopefuls who did crash up pretty early in the race, unfortunately. And Shadareza, who didn't even get to cross turn 1, which is also pretty unfortunate. But anyways, that should be all for the results here. Let's take a look into some of the replays of the events. We're mostly going to be focusing on one incident that will be for Mama and Reza. But before we get into the replays, Kamina Reba, can you share like your thoughts of the race and the season overall?
It was one hell of a season for sure, and this race also was possibly one of the best I've ever watched. Not overdoing and oversaying it. I believe it was one of the best racing I've ever seen. Bit of disappointment at the end, but because there was the possibility of a unexpected winner winning, but it is what it is. Muazif did his job, did his work. Unbelievable talent, unbelievable consistency, and unbelievable
I know.
Everything.
We can absolutely talk about the amazing racing product that we have at the moment. But let's just talk about the race replay. Of course, we want to talk about the likes of Muhammad Shalan Reza. If you want to know what happened to him at the start, here is the explanation. So you can see here, here's Shalan Reza trying to get the start in. Just wanted to go fast forward a bit. And I think this is where it is. So you can here's where the start goes. Oh, just wanted to get the replay again.
Nasty crash.
Basically, what happened here for him is that he basically put too much power on the throttle and immediately veered right, and then slammed into the wall. The suspension was damaged, and the rear wing was also damaged. Let's take a look. Let's take another look. Very unfortunate for the 2023 Formula Hololive Japan champion, which he's of course there representing Kosei Kibicho. Here's the onboard. Ouch. For basically the pebbles, they're not happy about this. But let's check out the onboard again. And here's the onboard. See what happened to. Oh yeah, that's very nice. That's just. Anyways, that should be the only replay that we should be able to show you. At least the ones that we can probably be able to show you. And with that being said, we can finally actually highlight a few things actually. So with that being said, we will finally award the trophy to the champion of the 23-24 Formula Hololive International season. So we're only going to be showing you the podium step, the step on the podium, as this is the best thing that we are able to show you. And so yeah, here it is, the trophy for the 23-24 Formula Hololive International season. It now finally goes to Aziz Muazif. Congratulations to both him and Ayuna Risu for winning the 23-24 Formula Hololive International season. Congratulations. And with that being said, we still have one more thing that we need to do, is to check the final points standings. That is the one thing that we need to do before we finally conclude the season overall. So with that being said, again, as we mentioned, it has been a very amazing season from all sorts. But it looks like, I think, the content manager has crashed. So I think the results have not properly processed. But we can tell you one thing for sure. We will update the final point standings in due time. I will try to work overtime for this, as much as it hurts. But whatever the case is, we can safely confirm one thing. Aziz Muazif has won the 23-24 Formula Hololive International season. We will update you all about the final point standings in due time. Please keep yourself updated on Twitters and YouTube on the championship standings. So yeah, with that being said, that should be all from us. I'm Mama Riza, and alongside me is Kamen Riba in the commentary booth. You've been watching the 23-24 Formula Hololive International season. We'll see you next time for the next Formula Hololive International season on September, and decider of the 23, or rather the decider of the 23 of the, or rather the decider of the 2024 Formula Hololive Japan qualifier season. With that being said, everyone, take care and have a good race.